So yeah, hey Anja and James, so nice to see you.
Hello.
So nice to have you today here. And yeah, so could you maybe introduce yourself a little bit more to those who don't know you?
Yeah, so my name's James. I'm from the UK, living in Norway, and I am 26 years old. I'm a master's student in physics, studying at the University of Oslo. Um, what else would you like to know?
Oh,
We've been
that's
married?
really,
No. No. Yeah, we've been married for 2.5 years, basically. Yeah, I'm Anja. She's age 25 years old, from Norway, working as an organizational advisor. So, also in my work, I'm very interested in personal development. So, this is great. And I guess
yeah,
that's me. Yeah.
yeah, great. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so yeah, first I would like to ask you, yeah, what was your situation? I think it was about like a bit less than 1 year ago, before going through workshop trainings and coaching with me.
Mm. I think I think we were both sort of figuring out our next steps in life. I just started a new job. We moved from the UK to Norway, and James just started his master's here, learning Norwegian. And I think we were both sort of trying to think what's our next step, both individually in our career, but also as a couple. What do we want to do? So I think it was kind of those kind of big life questions that we're discussing, but we were very unclear what we wanted. And we knew we wanted to contribute in our community as well, in our local family fed community, but we didn't know what to do. And we tried to volunteer many places, but kind of feeling a bit losing our energy, or this wasn't the right way to contribute. So that was a interesting time of sort of exploring, but not really going where we wanted somehow.
Yeah, I think for maybe I can give another side to it.
Mm.
I was feeling like, so Anya started doing uh, like personal development or the vision work with Raphael before I did.
Mm.
And for me, I didn't think that like, I didn't even have the concept that, oh, like personal development and like doing a vision would help me. I just thought, okay, I don't know. I don't know anything about this. So I didn't have a really much clue about what like life vision coaching was or personal development really.
Mm.
And so I think a lot of the things that we went into with Raphael, I mean, I never even thought I needed this, and I didn't know what it could do for me.
Mm,
That's where I was.
Mm.
okay, yeah.
And, um, what was the question again?
Yeah, what is situation about
Situation. Yeah.
before getting into workshops, training and coaching with me, yeah? So yeah,
Yeah,
I think that
yeah,
kind
I
of
think that
answer the
was.
question, yeah. Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's true if I remember well, Anya, you started journaling actually, yeah?
Yeah. The peace starts with me, and
The
yeah,
whole self
well,
journal, yeah?
that's right. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, so
Mm.
interesting. So yeah, you kind of were in a stage of your life, yeah, where you're trying to figure out more clearly what is your next step, yeah? Mm.
Mm.
So yeah, well, it was like it seems like this was your biggest challenge, like figuring out the next step. And how was this impacting uh, your life of not knowing exactly what will be the next step or what to do?
Mm.
How did coaching
No. Before the coaching,
happen
actually,
before?
Mm.
the fact that you were in a situation where you kind of need to figure out your next step. how was it impacting your life? Like what was the impact on your life?
I think, I mean, in many ways, we kind of tried out different things that maybe wasn't what we wanted to do, which was good learning, but it felt a bit like we weren't really jumping into or really seeing our full potential. And I think that's been maybe the most impactful thing we've learned through the vision work, like really believing in a grander vision. Yeah, like kind of thinking, oh, we want to contribute to community, let's do something here, let's do a bit there. But it was sort of, it doesn't feel so like it's drawing you. It's kind of more you're using energy and then you get tired. And there will be many of these experiences of giving out, but not feeling rejuvenated again. And that was quite draining, where you feel like, but I'm contributing something good, but why do I feel drained? Kind of. So this feeling was, I felt personally often.
Yeah, I was thinking actually, I agree with that. Like if I think about it now, now I feel like I have a life vision which can help me sift through inputs that come in. Like, oh, someone asked me to do this, someone asked me to do that. Okay, I can sift through it. Okay, what's important, what's not, and then I just decide. Okay, no, it's not a part of my vision. Just say no. But before, like, I would have felt like, oh, okay, it's something challenging, but I should do it, or something like that, maybe. Just sort of feeling like people ask you something and then they put that on your plate, but you don't have no way to really decide what's important and what do you do with something. And then the only way to really find out is by trying it. And then but that's time consuming, that takes effort. It's kind of a energy wasting cycle.
Yeah, so what's happening, like not having a clear vision, you kind of had to try things out to figure out if that would be the right step or the next step, and that was taking you a lot of time and energy. Yeah, so why did you decided to first of all participate in the first workshop and then continue on the next mastery training and then do coaching together? How did you decide to make the steps, and why did you make that decision?
Maybe I start. I mean, I started with the whole goals journal, and I feel like from there I already felt like, okay, I'm making these goals, I'm setting goals, but I didn't feel I had my whole dream, or like I didn't have my clear long-term goals listed down, and that was a bit tricky. So in that way I felt really drawn to the idea of making my own life vision and figure out more like my longer term steps, and what draws me. So that was at least initial of wanting to join the vision workshop. But then I joined the vision workshop and I was very inspired and made my 12 life categories. And I felt like, okay, I did this as an individual, but really every day I'm living with James, and it's very difficult to explain to him I'm doing this because of this and this, or let's make this choice in our life because it's aligned with my vision, but I want it to be aligned with his wishes and vision too. So then I asked if he wanted to do a vision course.
Yeah, so I think for me, as I said, didn't know what personal development was or vision things. And I don't think I would have done it by myself. Or at least I wouldn't have gotten into it by myself, because I don't know how. But from looking at Anja doing the vision workshop and sort of just like looking over her shoulder, seeing what she's doing, okay, this is interesting. And sort of through Anja, then I was learning, and then that was sort of what caught me, and then I wanted to do the mastery training. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, you really felt like it was important to have a long-term vision from your side, Anja, and then you felt like, yeah, but I don't want to do it by myself. You wanted to do together James, who didn't consider this, but then, looking at what you were doing, he actually find it very intriguing and was also interested to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so what did you make decide to then go on with the mastery training and then personal coaching with me?
So what made us decide to go on to do master training and coaching? Well, from doing the mastery training, like after having made, okay, so wait, the first step is why I did the mastery training. I don't remember so much.
Maybe I can do that one since I started. Well, I think the mastery training was I remember it being very much like focused or promoted as being like helping you really realize your vision. I mean, take the next steps to make it much more detailed and clear. And that's what I felt I needed also to make it much more grounded. Like I have this great vision and that's really inspiring, but I want to really feel much more strong about it, that this is something I can do and make more clear goals and steps and habits also connected to that. So that was the reason for that one. And then bringing James on that journey as well, doing a workshop together on our vision.
Yeah, well. Yeah, so it's about once you have that great vision, then how to make it a reality. That was really important for you to see how to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then go ahead, James.
Yeah, I could just say because I couldn't think of it at the time. I think the main reason I did the mastery training first was just because I was interested in what Annie was doing and this idea of creating a vision. But then why we decided to do the coaching was more that it had really built on that in the mastery training, like building the vision and optimizing it and then doing the first session with you. That was what really got me engaged in it, and I really felt like I really wanted to pursue it. Yeah. Sorry, maybe that wasn't so clear.
Yeah, I mean it's good. So it's the initial the discovery call we had together that really made you want to commit to do coaching. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I really felt like we could trust you from doing the mastery training, so I felt like I was in the right hands. But it was so much more engaging and interesting after we'd had that first session.
Yeah, and for me, like the coaching was especially on really working on our individual, I mean, getting more guidance, clear, directed guidance from you as a coach in our own vision. Because the mastery training is with a group and it's really helpful too, but to really get like somebody really kind of pulling the threads and seeing the bigger picture on your vision was really empowering.
Yeah, so I felt like after going through this training, getting more specific clarity on your vision and your next steps was really helpful in the coaching. Yeah. Yeah. So what do you feel? What do you think right now would have happened if you wouldn't have made these choices? You wouldn't have done this workshops, trainings, and coaching.
I think we would have kept on sort of trial and error, which is okay in short term, but when it keeps going, it takes a lot of energy and you don't feel so focused. Of course, we always had goals, but it's something different to be very clear on them and like just having that really clear system of, okay, you have your vision and then you try out the habit for a week, and if it doesn't work then you stop it. But what we did before maybe was you try something out for months and then you realize it doesn't work, and then you're like, oh well, that was wasted effort. So I think there'll probably be more of that sort of slower growth somehow. Yeah. Thinking.
Yeah, for me, if I hadn't have done the coaching, then, you know, I'd be working on Saturdays. I'd be completely just no clue how to do my studies well or to a way that I was happy with. I'd be, I don't know, I can't even imagine. I would have been so inefficient in my work. I just can't even imagine the person I was a year ago. That was the way that was how I did like my routine and how I worked. And now I just think, oh, it was such a stupid way of doing things. Why did I do that? So stupid. Why did I believe those things that people told me was how you're supposed to do it in your life? And since I'm in science, you know, you just take in what your professors say. This is how you do science. This is how you're successful. But really, it's just their life experience and their sort of what they've been through, which they put on you. But it's not really how you have to live your life.
But I also thought, like, putting Corona in the picture is interesting because I think a lot of people are impacted quite negatively by this year just because it impacts so many areas like social and mental and many things. But I think also doing the vision work and journaling and coaching, it also helped us to keep like a good positive focus. And I think that's why it's so amazing that we've learned so much and been so empowered in this year. Maybe double as much as we would have because it's been a challenging year for many people. So, yeah, I think that makes the accomplishments even greater because it was done in a kind of challenging environment and time.
Yeah, so you felt like if you, without doing this training and coaching, you would have felt like you would continue with your trial and error process, just wasting a lot of time and energy and not growing and making progress as fast as you did this year, despite the challenge of coronavirus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you feel before making these decisions, you know, of the first workshop, the mastery training, or the coaching? Like, were you kind of afraid? Did you have like, were you questioning a lot this decision? How did you feel?
I think for me, I was thinking, well, what will I get out of this? I knew I would learn anything because I know personal development is very important just for my work as well. And any time spent on yourself and reflecting and thinking about your life is important. But what James had a very different perspective because he didn't think about those things. But I think I was still kind of wondering, oh, will this work for me? And yeah, will I get as much out of it as I want to? So that was interesting. Also, sometimes you attend things, you don't pay for it, and now it's also you pay for it, right? So then you're even more kind of cautious. Okay, will it be worth it? Questions I think I had before. Yeah. But those are the negative ones, of course, as well. I had kind of curiosity and thinking, oh, it'll be really exciting to learn. Yeah.
My feeling before we did the coaching, I didn't feel nervous or at all. I felt like I knew it was like the next right decision to do the coaching from the mastery training, so I didn't feel nervous or uncertain. And I think doing the mastery training, I also didn't really feel nervous. It was just sort of an exploration. You know, I was learning, I was getting engaged, learning more, and that was really good. Just to go slowly developing and get into making a life vision, optimizing it, and yeah. So I felt like the process really flowed well for me.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, James, for you, it was like more like a progressive steps that were made seem natural to you once you get engaged. And for you, Anja, on one side, of course, you knew that all these trainings and coaching can be very beneficial, but because of also the time and financial commitment, you're wondering, okay, how much is that worth my time and money, and so that's the kind of questions you had before making that decision. Yeah. So how you feel were your first steps into going through this process of creating your vision, creating plans to make it happen? Yeah, how was the experience of your first steps getting through that process?
Well, for me, the first steps of making my vision was that I was basically doing it by myself with the worksheets, because I didn't do the vision 3-day workshop that Anya did. But then after Anya did it, then I just sort of did it by myself. I took the worksheets and then I just went through it in a few hours, writing out for each category, doing that. So that was my first steps. That's the thing.
Yeah, I can add on.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was really exciting writing the vision. But I think I also felt a bit like, okay, now what? How am I going to get there? Because this is a really exciting vision I've written out, and really so detailed, things I really want in my life. But yeah, and this kind of curiosity, how do I get there? I want to know more, and which was very good. Kind of this wanting to learn more, know more came in, which has been very good for the growth, because that's been kind of guiding me and making me want to take new steps all the time.
Yeah, it seems like it was kind of exciting at the beginning. Yeah, for you, Anya, you mentioned that it was exciting, and for you, James, even you were doing it by yourself. You kind of were able to do it in it was a kind of a positive experience to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was feeling like, I don't really think I stopped in between. I was just like going to the next category.
Wow.
And now that I look back at it, like maybe it wasn't all, I didn't do it all rightly, but I was sort of emptying my mind and getting things down. And okay, I didn't do the workshops. I didn't know exactly how I should do it, but I just sort of was getting engaged with the process.
Well, yeah, that's great. So, but along the whole way, whether it's creating the vision, creating the plan for it, getting clear it, and also then trying to take more action, making really progress through the coaching, what are challenges and the difficulties you faced along the way?
Challenges with the coaching itself, or just
with the process. Yeah, I think with the process, but also then maybe some things that were kind of connected to it, even if not directly.
I think for me, the first internal struggle was connected to what I said earlier, like how do I get there?
Yeah.
I mean, you feel so inspired by the vision, and then you feel like, oh, but I don't know exactly how to get there. But then, of course, in the process, we did learn goal setting and habit development and all these tools that were really helpful. So I was very happy about that. But yeah, it was also kind of every time, because I think you get so excited by the wins and what you do accomplish, but then every time I felt like, oh no, now I wasn't able to do that habit I set for myself, or I wasn't able to progress as quickly as I wanted. But then through the process, I mean, we also learned that, well, that's not bad, it's about perspective, how you go into it, and then you find out what doesn't work for you, which is also a good growth, an important part of growth. Yeah, I think it was those kind of moments where you're not sure what to do or don't understand why you didn't make it as you wanted it.
Yeah, so the challenge was like always like this question of how to make things a reality. And then also when things were not working out the way we wished it, and the the way you could overcome them is, of course, tools that helped you a lot in the trainings to, actually see how you can make it a reality, like goal setting and habit development. And then on the blockages you had, like, okay, just taking perspective, just reassessing and readjusting according to your experiences. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think you also learn to be patient through the process, because I think I was a bit impatient in the beginning, thinking, it's this great vision, I want to get there now, but it takes time. So, yeah, I think that's an important lesson to learn as well. To be patient and enjoy the process, because it is really fun
Mm.
learn when you really take time for every step.
Wow.
Mm.
How about you, James?
I feel like I'm still trying to grasp the question to me. I'm just because I'm feeling like you want to know what was the challenge with the actual process, not what I was going through.
Yeah, like trying either to learn the things or apply the things, whether it's applying through creating the vision or applying to put it in action into real life. What were the challenges you met? And even though you may overcome them actually now, yeah, so you can actually share the challenges you met, and then also how you can also share how you've overcome them. Yeah.
So, well, there were lots of challenges that came up during the coaching that were related to me. I didn't feel that there was anything that like I didn't feel like there was a challenge of putting it into action so much. I felt like it was really easy to get feedback and then decide on the next steps. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, you felt like the process was actually very helpful into making progress, and it was not creating challenges, it was actually helping you to overcome challenges.
Yeah, exactly. Like when I started the coaching, then I came in with a problem, or like actually I remember it was that I wanted more of my foundational goals to reflect my whole life vision, not just my career, because that was the case. Okay, so that's what I came into coaching with. But I don't even think like I think through the coaching we didn't even solve it. We just sort of removed the problem. Like it wasn't significant anymore. It's just like everything just went into place. But other challenges came up that like I didn't even know. Like, okay, so my professor came up to me and said, you know, we're doing these experiments and either you're in or you're out, and you have to commit, you have to sacrifice, like maybe it's a weekend or 2 weekends. And then those are the kind of things that came up during the coaching, and those were actually the things that when we solved through the coaching, then everything else started to like fall into place. So that was such a great feeling. I didn't feel like coaching had any barriers or anything difficult to put into place for me. Everything just worked well.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, what do you feel is the biggest change? And I think we were sharing about this a little before, but anyway, you can share this again, or maybe some other aspects. Yeah, the biggest change or the biggest changes, if you want to share a few things in your life by going through this trainings and coaching.
Yeah, I was thinking this week actually about how habits I made that seemed really difficult in like October, November, and now it's February. They just seem like, no, that doesn't fit into my lifestyle. That doesn't work for me. But now they've become completely natural, like our morning routine. We do it every day now. And even if we do it shorter, we still do it every day. And it's just so funny because I even have in my journal like writing down in November and December, like, oh, it's so difficult waking up half an hour earlier. And now it's just so natural. And I'm thinking, wow, adding a new habit now actually won't be a problem, because that habit is already there. It doesn't even, we don't even think about it. It's just what we do. And I think that's the most amazing, actually, that when you push yourself to take one change, then the next change becomes so much more easy. So it's just about starting, and then it will happen. Then it's easier and easier somehow. So yeah, that's one huge win. But I also think what I went into the coaching with was that I was working in our community in an area that I felt I was skilled in, but my passion wasn't fully there. And I wanted to find out, what is my passion? How can I really work on something I'm passionate about? And now in beginning or end of December, actually, I resigned from my what I was doing. Now I'm still supporting the project I was working on earlier, but we're now working as a couple on supporting young people in our community, and it's something that draws us together as a couple, but it's also so many elements of it that we're passionate about, we're inspired about, we really enjoy going to the meetings, and we feel like it gives us energy. It's not that kind of activity which I was doing before, where I would invest and then I'm so exhausted in the evening after having contributed. But now I feel like I invest and it's like, wow, it's so inspiring that even if you use a lot of energy, you feel you get a lot back. So for me, really, yeah, allowing myself to do what I'm passionate about and seeing that it's so rewarding, both like having more energy and feeling more creative and feeling more inspired. Yeah, that's my second really big win, I would say.
Wow, I
Mm.
mean, yeah, it's really amazing how you shifted from a difficult habit to develop into making it like naturally part of your lifestyle, and then shifting to focusing more on what you're passionate about, so that actually contribution actually gives you energy instead of taking your energy. And so how did you feel that the training and coaching help you to make this happen?
Mm. I think both the vision, like mastery training, we got a lot of really good points there about like habit development and making them very clear. But I think especially in coaching, like being guided to, okay, what does making this habit mean, or what does it like, what will it give you? Why is it important? And especially when we're working through the identity process of what does that mean for me and my identity, and the identity that I really want to kind of, in, what do you say, like have in me, or um and that,
Who do you what do you want to be? Yeah.
yeah, who do I want to be? And to really shift the focus to do things that make me feel more fulfilled. So it's kind of like the perspective shift, or like shift of how I view things, that was really useful in coaching. But also getting very concrete and specific, like what does it actually mean, making that shift in my morning routine? Will it have such a big impact? Maybe not. And really making it clear why it's really important to me personally, and how much it will give me energy throughout the day. And yeah, it's just
Oh,
big shift in perspective. Mm.
great. How would you, James?
You have to go back to the first question. I've forgotten now.
Yeah, what were your biggest change, or your biggest changes, if you ever, if you in your life, by going through this training and coaching?
Yeah, this is a good question. I think it would have to be like as two things. So the first one I sort of mentioned before was about changing sort of the way I had thought about beliefs. And through coaching with you, then I sort of found that actually I can challenge these beliefs that are being put upon me, and I don't have to play by them. And so that for me was like completely a big change in my lifestyle, because from believing that, okay, to be successful, then I have to work hard and you have to sacrifice. Okay, so that's what I was that was what I was feeling. And then to just sort of say, okay, I'm not gonna play by that. I'm gonna have a vision. Okay, how am I gonna get there? And the way I want to do it. So that was really big. And the second thing was definitely investing in myself, because I didn't really, I didn't know about personal development, and I didn't even really think about, okay, spending money on myself so that I become, I can make more money or something like that. I mean, it doesn't have to be money, but just investing in myself so that I can be better at doing something. And I didn't really catch that. I think listening to myself talk about it now sounds simple. Okay, you invest in yourself so you do better. That's obvious, but actually, like spending 1,000, like since then I've spent like, okay, maybe a couple of thousand on a course, but I'm learning so much and I'm becoming really into what I'm doing, and I feel like I'm getting so much out of it. I'm spending all my money so I can grow and grow, and I'm excited to see where it's going to take me.
And I can also testify to that, because it's interesting. Like now, almost every day, James is taking time to like read personal development books, and it's really inspiring for me as well, because I see him like, also he wakes up really early in the morning and he's reading, and he reads maybe like 5-10 pages every day, and he's like finished since 3 months. It's like 5 books or whatever. It's loads, and he's seen so much, and it's really amazing to see that, just how he's using and really prioritizing this in his everyday life now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like the third one, the third point. If I can add the third point. But yeah, I feel like really from I think the feedback I gave you when I finished coaching was like, what I really liked was that I could just take off time, and then you'd give me a couple books to read and I just read them and get into it and then take off from there. But I think it's actually more, that makes it sound sort of simple, but it was now that I look back on it, it's really interesting, because I was just giving you problems like, okay, this is the challenges I'm facing, how can we work through it? And then you were sort of taking that in and then asking, okay, how can we go deeper? What is it you want, and how do you want to live? And then I'd start thinking about that, and then you'd make a suggestion what I could do, what I could read, and then that was just brilliant. Like I think since last December I've read like 6, 7, 8 books, and not just for knowledge, but I feel like I've been transforming. I've been using it time, and I've noticed a lot of difference.
Wow. Yeah, so challenging beliefs that are put on you and really choosing your ones, investing in yourself and the power of it, and then just the power of making personal development part of your lifestyle, and just keep not just learning but transforming. Yeah. And how, I mean, you kind of shared a little bit already about morning routine and everything, but is there any other ways that you feel like it's impacting your daily life currently?
A morning routine.
I mean, you mentioned the morning routine, but like just generally speaking, how did the whole training coaching is now impacting your daily life, like
daily life?
I think, I mean, especially in our relationship, like how we communicate, and I don't know, it's really impacted a lot, because like now every month we have a meeting together, going through our finances, for example, which we didn't do before. We also try to discuss our goals there, and also in our everyday conversations, I think when we talk about something we want, then we try to, I think it's just really shaping you a bit, focusing on your vision, and thinking, oh, is this really what you want, James, or is this really what I want, and kind of connecting it to the bigger picture. So I think that's just the mindset is a big takeaway. But yeah, also like in this room we have our vision hanging up on the wall, so we see it every day. So that's a big, yeah, big win. Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, in my day, starting from the morning routine, which Anja mentioned, then since doing the training and the coaching, then like I feel that my day is very structured. I've like time blocked out what I'm gonna do, or I do that in the morning or the day before. And I'm blocking out all my time until I finish work, what I'm gonna do, and that takes off so much of the burden of making decisions, and you can just get into things. I'm still working on like how to do that with our time after work, like getting into deep work as a couple. That's actually something I'm interested in figuring out how to sort that out, how to figure it out,
Yeah.
because that's still a challenge. But yeah, having like certain meetings in the month that we set up, that comes up sometimes, like a financial meeting, and I guess yeah, the decisions we make, we check, okay, does it fit with my vision or not? Or okay, we're interested in buying this or doing that, does it fit with the vision? Does it? And then we talk to each other.
Yeah.
So having that filtering system for the days, what's the word, the days stimuli or inputs, yeah, inputs, everything that's coming in, you got to filter or do something with, or how do you deal with it?
Wow, yeah. So it's impacting a lot your conversations, your decision making, your the way you're filtering all the inputs that you're receiving in life. Yeah, that's one of your big daily impact. Yeah, and just keeping connected to your vision. Yeah, that you put up. Okay. So how are you feeling now? You know that especially connecting through sharing all of this, being through this journey of transformation. How do you feel now?
Feels good.
Yeah, no, it's really good. It's interesting because I feel like you really have to think about how was it before. Like you start with a question, how were we before, and before you realize what kind of impact it has had, because I think a lot has shifted in our minds as well, and also by reading a lot, and yeah, it really does change you. So I think it feels really great, and I think also it feels really hopeful because I feel very strongly that everything is possible somehow. That we just have to decide where we want to go, and then we can make it work. So that's really great feeling to have, and that you also don't feel burdened. That kind of feeling before where, oh, we have to contribute here, or our career is really heavy, but we have to do it because we have to earn money. But now it's kind of a big shift there as well. Like do it because you enjoy it, and then the money will come, or then the yeah, what you want to use your time in will come. The energy will come back somehow.
Yeah, I feel, yeah, as well as what Anja said, like looking back, I feel like looking back to a year ago or 2 years ago, maybe it was, then I just I can't understand the person what I did and the decisions I made, and I just feel like doing the whole process, like I feel like I've saved so much time. Like it's just like it's just relieving to know, I feel like I've saved like 10-15 years of wasting my time figuring things out or just being inefficient, and now looking forwards, then I just feel excited, like what's next. I feel like much more excited about life, like instead of feeling that, okay, life is challenging, what to do, and not really having a clear vision. Now I feel excited. Okay, this is what I'm going to do, and how am I going to get there, and what else is going to come about. That's interesting. That's really cool to think. And yeah, so definitely we're going to keep coaching.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's a big shift as well. We started thinking, oh, this is something we try and then we'll finish it.
Yeah.
But now it feels like actually it's something that's really important for like constant growth and constant checking in where we are at.
Yeah, so every time you feel great about the transformation you experienced, you felt like you gained so much time in going through this process, and you also feel so excited about the future, what's coming up, instead of feeling burdened or scared or not unclear or something about the future. You feel actually quite clear and excited about the future. Yeah. So yeah, what would you tell exactly? James, you were saying like, I can't understand this guy, from 1 year ago. What would you tell him, like looking back, like in the situation, what would you tell him? Would you like to share with him if you look back at that time?
I don't know, how do you tell someone what they don't think they don't they don't need? I don't even know how I would convince myself, because I hadn't tried any of these things, and I didn't know what they were. I didn't know what they could do. That's challenging.
I can shoot in.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say life can be so much more simple. I mean, of course, it takes effort to make the vision and do the homework. In the beginning, especially, it feels like it takes time and effort, but in the end, it feels like things just are much more simple. And of course, challenging times comes, but it feels easier somehow to solve them also together as a couple, because we have a clear direction of where we're going in all areas of life, not just we want to live a happy life or want to have an ideal family, but really very detailed. So yeah, I think just to tell myself that life can be so much more simple, and you can really do what you want, not feel like I have to do this and I have to contribute here and this is the right thing to do. But yeah, knowing that also the role models or people around me, even though they do something I'm interested in, but this kind of A4 life where you feel like this is how you study, you work, your kids. It's not really how it is. It's so much more creative, and the vision work really helps you to realize that you're really shaping your life by putting that time, in work. Yeah.
Yeah, so you would share to yourself that life can be so much more simple and easy, even though there are challenges. And you can really do what you really want once you've worked through that kind of complexity. Yeah, it's a simplicity on the other side of complexity, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know what I would. I don't know what I would how I would convince myself, but I think I would ask, like, I would probably ask myself, like, how do you want to progress? Do you want to take 10, 15 years figuring out things by yourself, and saving a bunch of money, but taking that long and taking all the effort to do that? Or do you just want to spend a little bit of time, get things sorted out, spend more money, but feel great about doing that? I mean, and just saving yourself all that energy and time. Maybe I would ask myself that.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I can notice that you got into coaching because asking questions is the best way you can give advice to somebody, actually. Yeah, so that's really powerful, James. You were struggling, but wow, you got some very powerful stuff there.
I think
Wow.
especially as a spouse as well, it's quite exciting to see the change in the other. I think that's really empowering. that of course I see myself growing, but seeing James growing is like, wow, it's we can achieve great things. I mean, I think like finishing the coaching, I was thinking, well, it's possible, to be that kind of super team as a couple.
Mm,
It's possible. It's not just something you think is somewhere out there, but we can do that.
wow.
Mm.
Wow, I mean, yeah, this has been very inspiring conversation actually. I knew it's gonna be, but I didn't expect it to be so inspiring. So thank you so much for that. And yeah, is there anything else you'd like to add or to share?
Anything else? I think that we want to do coaching more, probably. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that, yeah, that we really value it so much more than we did in the beginning.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, now you've experienced it, you feel like, wow, this is so valuable. And I think you shared before that you kind of almost want to make it part of your lifestyle more than, you know.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah, it's just that feeling of excitement. Like we were talking this week, okay, if we do when we do coaching, and not if, but when we do coaching, and okay, what's the problems we want Raphael to help us with? And we came up with maybe one, and okay, maybe it's a big thing, but we couldn't necessarily think of a lot of things that we thought we need solving. But actually, we were kind of discussing that that's not how we first started coaching, and
Mm.
it's just more that having someone there to be that in that feedback loop. It's not that we have to come with a problem
Mm,
necessarily, but things come up,
Mm.
and so we feel like having a constant feedback is really helpful.
mm,
Yeah, I think a lot of people, I think they have to have a big problem with themselves before they go into like coaching or
mm,
counseling,
mm,
whatever. But I think what we realize is actually it's such a strength in the natural daily life, even if we feel really fulfilled, but just to have that kind of somebody who's there, who's kind of, oh, how can you make it even greater? How can you,
mm.
yeah, grow even more? Hmm.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, I mean, thank you for sharing that. It's amazing. Yeah, you really feel like coaching is not just problem solving, but just making constant progress in a easy, fun, and exciting way, more than just trying to figure out everything by yourself. Yeah. Mm.
Mm.
And just feeding it constantly. Yeah. Wow. So thank you so much again, Anya and James. I'm so grateful that we work together and to see the transformation you've been through, and yeah, for taking the time today to share your experience with um, those who will listen to this. And yeah, really looking forward to work together again. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.